Hello, my beloved Scorpio soul, and welcome home to the mystic Astrozen, your sacred space for astrology insights, tarot revelations, soulful healing, and spiritual awakening. If you've been feeling a heaviness lately that you can't quite name, a quiet ache that lingers beneath your strength, this message was meant for you. Because no matter how far you've come, how much you've transformed, or how many versions of yourself you've already shed, there's one part of you still waiting to be seen. And that part is your younger self, the child within who once felt abandoned, rejected, or deeply misunderstood. The truth is, Scorpio, you didn't just survive what happened to you. You buried it so deeply in your soul that even you stopped noticing its weight. But energy never disappears. It waits. And now, in this very moment, that energy is rising to the surface, not to haunt you, but to free you. You see, your soul remembers. It remembers the first time you were told you were too much, too intense, too emotional, too deep. It remembers the moment you started hiding your tenderness behind silence, strength, or sarcasm. It remembers every time you begged to be seen, but instead were judged, abandoned, or ignored. And now, as you evolve into your higher self, these memories resurface not as punishments, but as invitations. They are sacred portals, signs that your inner child, the most sensitive, intuitive, pure part of you, is asking to be acknowledged. Because Scorpio, the wound you thought was healed, is still quietly shaping your reality. It affects how you love, how you trust, how you protect your energy. It shows up in relationships where you give too much and receive too little. It whispers in your ear when something beautiful begins, warning you it won't last. And perhaps, most heartbreakingly, it makes you question whether you're truly worthy of peace, softness, and unconditional love. But here's the truth: you are. Not because you've done enough healing, but because you are always worthy. The healing journey isn't about becoming someone new. It's about returning to the part of you that was silenced and offering it the voice it always deserved. That's what we'll do here today. Through the lens of astrology, tarot wisdom, and universal guidance, we'll explore how to identify the wounds still lingering in your soul, and more importantly, how to begin setting yourself free. Not with force, but with love. Not with fear, but with sacred intention. Because Scorpio, this is your time. Your past may have shaped you, but it does not own you. The moment you choose to truly see your inner child is the moment everything begins to shift. Are you ready to listen? Let's begin. Scorpio, there's a reason why your emotions run deeper than most. It's written in the stars, quite literally. You are ruled by two of the most intense and transformative planets in astrology, Pluto and Mars. Pluto governs death, rebirth, the subconscious, hidden truths, and soul-level transformation. Mars brings raw energy, passion, and inner fire. When these two cosmic forces converge in the sign of Scorpio, they create a soul with extraordinary emotional depth, spiritual sensitivity, and the unique power to be reborn from even the most painful experiences. But with great depth comes great responsibility and often great pain. As a Scorpio, you don't just feel things. You absorb them. You carry the emotional residue of every experience, every betrayal, every wound, every silent cry for love that was never answered. Even if your conscious mind forgets, your soul never does. This is why Scorpios often feel like they're carrying weight no one else can see, because energetically they are. Childhood wounds, karmic imprints, ancestral trauma, all of it tends to embed itself deep in the Scorpio psyche, especially when it goes unacknowledged or unresolved. Your natal chart often places emphasis on the 8th house, the domain of shadows. Shared energy, loss, transformation, and spiritual power. This house isn't easy. It forces you to confront what others avoid. But it also grants you the gift of alchemy, the ability to turn pain into power and wounds into wisdom. However, that gift can only be accessed when you stop numbing and down. Start listening. Scorpio, have you ever wondered why you feel drained after being around certain people, even if they didn't say a word? Or why you instinctively know when something is off, even before it's revealed? It's because your soul is designed to sense what lies beneath the surface. You are attuned to the frequency of emotional truth. But sometimes, that truth includes your own, and facing it can be the hardest part. This is also why many Scorpios develop emotional armor. You become masters of hiding behind mystery, silence, or strength, not because you're cold, but because vulnerability once brought pain. And now, the stars are aligning to gently challenge that armor, not to weaken you, but to awaken you. The cosmos is asking, can you hold space for the version of yourself that still aches? Because the moment you do, you activate your true power. You see, your destiny isn't just to endure. It's to transform. And that transformation starts with honoring the truth of what you've been through, without shame, without judgment. That's the true essence of Scorpio. Not the darkness, but the alchemy within the darkness. You were never meant to carry these wounds forever. You were meant to rise from them, wiser, softer, more aligned. In this sacred space, we don't fear the shadow. We embrace it, we learn from it, and we use it to light the way forward. And Scorpio, the stars are whispering, it's time. Scorpio, beneath your strength, your fierce independence, and your mystery, lives a child who once felt unseen. And not just unseen, unheard, unheld, and misunderstood. That inner child may not speak in words today, but their presence still echoes through your emotions, your relationships, and your silence. This isn't about blaming the past. It's about recognizing that what was buried never truly died. It simply went underground, waiting for the day you'd be ready to return and bring it home. You see, Scorpio is a master of emotional survival. When the world felt unsafe, when your feelings were dismissed, when your sensitivity was mocked, when your tears were too loud for the room, you learned to armor up. You learned to stay quiet. You learned to be strong, even when it hurt. But that strength, while admirable, came at a cost. And that cost was disconnection from your most tender, authentic self, the one who used to dream freely, feel deeply, and love without caution. That inner child may show up now in ways that confuse you, the sudden rage you can't explain, the fear of being left even when no one's leaving, the deep craving to be understood, followed by the urge to push everyone away. These aren't flaws. These are fragments, echoes of a soul still carrying pain it never got to process. Your inner child doesn't want revenge. They want recognition. They don't need to relive the trauma. They need you to witness that it happened. And in that witnessing, healing begins. This isn't just psychological, it's spiritual. In many healing traditions, the inner child is seen as a living fragment of the soul that can be called back into wholeness through presence, love, and compassion. And for Scorpio, who tends to intellectualize pain or hide it behind control, the challenge is not to figure it out, but to feel it out. To stop analyzing and start holding space for what was once too overwhelming to hold. Ask yourself gently, when was the first time I felt betrayed? The first time I felt like love came with conditions? The first time I promised myself I'd never be vulnerable again? Scorpio, the answers are already within you, not to trap you in the past, but to help you rewrite the future. Because the only thing more powerful than a Scorpio in pain is a Scorpio who remembers their true worth and decides to heal. The child within you is not weak. They are wise. They are the original you, before the world taught you to shrink, to toughen up, to hide. And when you reconnect with them, you unlock a version of yourself that is both deeply rooted and wildly free. You return to your natural state, intuitive, empowered, and open to real love. It's time to go back, not to stay, but to retrieve the part of you that was left behind. Because the next chapter of your life needs all of you, including the part that once just needed to be held. Scorpio, the universe never stays silent. It speaks through symbols, signs, and the sacred language of the tarot. And if you've been seeing certain cards appear over and over again, it's not a coincidence. It's a calling. The cards don't lie. They mirror what your soul already knows, but hasn't yet found the words to express. One of the most powerful indicators of a hidden emotional wound is the repeated presence of the moon, a card drenched in illusion, secrets, and the soft voice of the subconscious. When this card shows up in a Scorpio reading, it often means there's something you're feeling but not fully facing, a fear, a memory, a truth that was buried for protection. Alongside it, the Five of Cups may emerge, quietly weeping over what lost, forgotten, or emotionally unresolved. This card isn't about regret. It's about recognition. It whispers that something precious in your past still longs to be seen, even if it was painful. Then comes the Tower, the card most Scorpios know well. A symbol of breakdowns, awakenings, and unexpected emotional eruptions. When this appears in the context of healing, it means your soul is trying to remove what no longer serves, not to punish you, but to rebuild you stronger and freer than ever before. And finally, the Six of Cups, a tender reminder of childhood, nostalgia, and soul contracts that were formed long before you knew what they meant. This card often signals that healing must happen at the root, with the child version of you. With old love, old friendships, even past life echoes. Together, these cards form a map, a sacred blueprint of your inner landscape. They do not predict disaster. They reveal truth. And truth, Scorpio, is your superpower. These cards are not curses. They are invitations to feel what's been unfelt, to hold what was once too heavy, and to rewrite the story with compassion instead of shame. So if these symbols have been showing up in your readings, know this: your spiritual team is trying to reach you. Your guides, your ancestors, your higher self, they're all pointing to the same place. Inward. Not to dwell in the past, but to liberate your future. When you lay your cards down, don't just look for answers. Look for mirrors. Look for the wounds asking to be held, and the strength that has always been yours, waiting beneath the pain. The tarot doesn't give you something new. It returns you to what was always sacred. Your story, your shadow, your light. And Scorpio, the moment you stop fearing the reflection, is the moment you finally become free. Scorpio, even when you think you've outgrown the past, its echo often lingers in the choices you make, the people you attract, and the emotions that surface in moments of silence. If you've ever found yourself pushing away someone you deeply care about, sabotaging moments of happiness, or suddenly feeling overwhelmed by emotions that seem out of proportion, that's not weakness. That's the wound still whispering. One of the clearest signs this unhealed pain still lives within you is your instinct to retreat or become emotionally guarded when vulnerability arises. You may tell yourself it's about protecting your peace, but often it's the child within, trying to avoid being hurt again. Another sign is your intense sensitivity to rejection or abandonment. Even subtle cues can trigger deep emotional responses, not because you're overreacting, but because your soul remembers what it felt like to be left, overlooked, or dismissed. Scorpio, you might also notice you attract emotionally unavailable people, not because you want pain, but because your unhealed self is still trying to resolve the original wound through a similar dynamic. Or perhaps you keep reliving patterns of control where you feel the need to anticipate every possible betrayal or disappointment before it happens. That's not your true self. That's trauma strategy masquerading as intuition. Even physical symptoms like exhaustion, chest tightness when speaking your truth, or feeling stuck in your goals may be the body carrying what the soul has suppressed. You may chase transformation, success, and spiritual growth with everything you have, yet still feel like something unseen is holding you back. That something is the emotional contract your younger self made to survive. One that says, "I'll never open up again," or "I have to stay in control to feel safe." But here's the awakening. That contract is expired. You are not the same person who made it. You are wiser now, stronger, more aware. And when you bring loving awareness to these patterns, not with blame, but with curiosity, you begin to reclaim your energy from the past. The key is to observe, not judge. To notice the triggers not as enemies, but as sacred messengers guiding you back to the place where healing can begin. You don't have to fix everything at once. You just have to start by noticing when the wound is leading and choosing, moment by moment, to lead from love instead. Scorpio, the past may have written your beginning, but it does not get to dictate your ending. The power to change the story is already within you, waiting for the moment you remember that the pain was never meant to be your identity. It was meant to awaken your purpose. And that awakening starts the moment you recognize these aren't just reactions. They're roadmaps to the part of you still waiting to be seen. Scorpio, every wound you carry but haven't yet healed doesn't just affect your emotions. It subtly distorts your energy field, your manifestations, and your ability to receive what you deeply desire. Unprocessed pain becomes an invisible frequency that sends signals to the universe, saying, "I'm not safe, I can't trust, or I don't deserve more." And because the universe responds not to what we want, but to what we vibrate, these wounds often keep you stuck in scarcity, repeating cycles of emotional disappointment, financial limitation, or spiritual stagnation. You may be doing all the right things, visualizing abundance, journaling, setting intentions, but still feel blocked. Why? Because beneath those conscious efforts, there is a subconscious story playing on repeat, one rooted in the energy of survival, protection, or fear. For example, if you were taught early on that love comes with conditions, You may unknowingly reject opportunities for real love out of fear that it will eventually hurt you. If you witnessed chaos or instability growing up, your nervous system may resist the calm and prosperity you now seek, simply because it feels unfamiliar. Scorpio, you are a sign of transformation, but true transformation requires energetic clearing, not just mental awareness. That wound from the past may be influencing your current finances, relationships, and even your spiritual alignment more than you realize. It's why you might feel exhausted after small tasks, why abundance slips away when it gets close, or why you keep attracting lessons instead of blessings. The energy of an unhealed past leaks through your aura, creating patterns of self-sabotage, fear-based decision-making, or emotional overreactions that block what's meant for you. And the danger is, you begin to normalize it. You start thinking struggle is your fate, that you have to work harder than everyone else just to feel a moment of peace. But that's not your truth. That's your trauma speaking. When you begin to heal, you reclaim energetic sovereignty. Your field becomes clearer. Your intentions align. Your magnetism increases. You stop attracting more of the wound and start calling in what resonates with your healed frequency. Love that nurtures, wealth that feels stable, opportunities that reflect your worth. But healing is not just about releasing pain. It's about making room for what's meant for you. Scorpio, your destiny was never to survive in fragments. It was to rise whole, magnetic, and deeply aligned. That past wound may have once protected you, but now it's holding you back from receiving the very things your soul came here to experience. Peace, passion, purpose, and prosperity. And the moment you choose to face that wound, to truly feel it, forgive it, and free it, is the moment you become a channel for divine abundance. The universe wants to give to you, Scorpio. But first, you must let go of the belief that you still have to suffer to prove your strength. You don't. You've already survived. Now it's time to receive. Scorpio, true healing isn't about rushing to fix what's broken. It's about creating sacred space for what's been ignored to finally be felt. And because you are a sign of deep transformation, the most powerful rituals for you are the ones that invite silence, reflection, and energetic release. Begin with a simple but profound mirror ritual. Stand before your reflection, look into your own eyes, and speak directly to your younger self. Say, I see you. I believe you. I'm here now. Let the emotions rise. Don't resist them. This act of self-witnessing cracks open the inner door you've kept sealed shut for years. Follow that with journaling prompts designed to access your subconscious truth, such as, when was the first time I felt unseen? Or, what do I still carry that isn't mine? Write without editing or analyzing. Let the soul speak freely. You may be surprised what rises to the surface. Pair this with a candle ritual under a waning moon, symbolizing release. Light a black or deep purple candle. Write your wound on paper, and with each breath, imagine the flame absorbing that pain and transmuting it into light. Say out loud, I release this with love. I reclaim my energy now. For daily alignment, incorporate breathwork and stillness practices. Even 5 minutes of slow breathing with your hand over your heart can anchor you into the present and soothe the fight or flight response rooted in past trauma. Another Scorpio-specific tool is a 3-card tarot spread just for healing. 1. What am I ready to face? 2. What truth needs to be felt? 3. What power awakens as I heal? This spread, repeated weekly, can track your soul's progress and offer messages directly from your higher self. And perhaps the most beautiful practice of all, visualize yourself as the phoenix rising from deep waters with golden wings. Feel each layer of your old identity peel away. Fear, shame, doubt, until what remains is the radiant essence of who you've always been. Add a mantra to anchor the frequency. I am not my pain. I am my rebirth. Scorpio, these rituals aren't meant to fix you, because you were never broken. They are sacred tools to help you remember what the wound made you forget. That you are whole, that you are worthy, and that your healing is holy. When done consistently and with intention, these practices soften your energetic body, expand your receiving channel, and make room for the blessings that have always been circling you, waiting for the moment you'd open the door. You don't need a perfect plan, just presence. You don't need to go faster, just deeper. Because when Scorpio heals, the world feels it. And your transformation, done in quiet devotion, becomes a ripple of light that touches everyone connected to your soul. So begin today, not with pressure, but with love. And trust that every small sacred act you choose moves you closer to the freedom you are always destined to embody. Scorpio, within you lives a version of yourself untouched by fear, pain, or the narratives others placed on your spirit. This is your higher self, and right now, it is gently but firmly calling you back into alignment. You may feel it as a whisper during quiet nights, a sudden emotion when you're alone, or a soft ache in your chest when you remember who you were before the world taught you to hide. That's not coincidence. That's guidance. You see, your higher self has never forgotten you. It has walked beside you in every heartbreak, witnessed your resilience, and guarded the sacred flame inside you. Even when you doubted, it was still there. And now, that divine part of you is rising, not to shame your past, but to illuminate your path forward. It speaks not in harsh commands, but in soul-encoded messages. You are not broken. You are breaking open. This isn't the time to rush into doing more, proving more, or pleasing others. It's the time to come home to your truth, to sit in silence and let yourself be seen by your own eyes. The universe is shifting in your favor, Scorpio, and that shift begins the moment you stop fighting the parts of you that still hurt. Your healing doesn't require a miracle outside of you. It asks for your permission to finally be whole. That little version of you, the one who longed to be chosen, loved, and protected, they don't need a rescuer anymore. They need you, your presence, your patience, your promise that you will no longer abandon them. Because when you choose to stand with yourself, not just the empowered version, but the raw, unfiltered one, you activate your divine timeline. That's when synchronicities return. That's when clarity comes. That's when doors open not through effort, but alignment. And you begin to realize you are never waiting for someone else to save you. You are waiting to remember your own light. So take this moment now, Scorpio, and breathe. Place your hand over your heart and repeat this truth: I am safe now. I am no longer who I was. I choose to rise. Your higher self hears you. Your guides surround you. The universe is ready to meet you where you are, not at your most perfect, but at your most honest. This is your sacred turning point. Not a breakdown, but a breakthrough. Not an ending, but a remembrance. And as you step into this space of soulful awareness, know this: you are no longer healing alone. You are healing in harmony with every version of yourself that ever wished to. Be free. Welcome them home. Welcome yourself home. The divine within you has always known the way. Now you're finally listening. Scorpio, the words you speak to yourself in silence become the architecture of your inner world. And right now, it's time to rebuild that world from truth, not trauma. Affirmations are not just feel-good phrases. They are energetic keys that reprogram the subconscious mind and shift the vibration you send out to the universe. For a soul as deep and intuitive as yours, affirmations become sacred spells, not of illusion, but of remembrance. When repeated consistently with intention, they begin to dissolve the old contracts you made with pain, fear, and unworthiness, and instead write new agreements rooted in divine identity, sovereignty, and love. So let these affirmations be your daily invocation, whispered to your inner child, spoken aloud to your reflection, or written into your journal under moonlight. I am safe to feel what I once buried. My past no longer defines me. I am rewriting my story with love. I am worthy of tenderness, even when I'm still healing. The wound was real, but so is my power. I do not need to earn love. I already embody it. My sensitivity is not a flaw. It is my gift. I trust the timing of my healing. I call back every part of me that I once abandoned. These are not just words, Scorpio. They are lifelines to the parts of you still waiting in the shadows. Say them when you feel strong. Say them when you feel broken. Say them especially when you don't believe them yet, because that's when they do the deepest work. Your subconscious does not know the difference between past and present, truth or belief. It simply responds to repetition, to emotion, to energy. And with each affirmation, you plant seeds in the soil of your soul, seeds of trust, of softness, of wholeness. Over time, they grow into a new inner reality, one where you no longer brace for betrayal, where you no longer shrink in moments of love, where you no longer filter your truth to avoid discomfort. This is how the wound loses its grip, not by force, but by frequency. The more you choose words that honor your evolution, the more your energy field shifts from survival to creation. And that's when you begin attracting new mirrors, people, opportunities, and experiences that reflect your healed vibration instead of your hidden pain. Scorpio, your mind is not your enemy. It's a powerful ally waiting for you to lead. And your voice, especially when it's trembling, holds the power to bring you home to yourself. So speak life into the silence. Let every affirmation be a love letter to the version of you who thought they'd never feel whole again. You are not affirming what you wish you were. You are remembering who you've always been. And with each breath, with each repetition, you declare, I am not the wound. I am the healer. Scorpio, as we close this sacred journey together, let this truth settle deep within your spirit. You are not here to carry the pain forever. You are here to transmute it. You are not just the sign of intensity, mystery, and emotion. You are the embodiment of the phoenix, the one who burns, who breaks, who rises again, brighter and more whole than ever before. This wound from your past, the one we've gently uncovered today, is not your enemy. It was your initiation. It shaped your strength, yes, but it never had the right to silence your softness, your joy, your right to receive. Now, with awareness. And soul wisdom, you hold the power to choose differently. You no longer need to hide behind armor that once kept you safe, but now keeps love and abundance at a distance. You no longer need to chase transformation in extremes, because healing, real healing, happens in the soft, sacred moments where you sit with yourself and say, I love who I'm becoming. Scorpio, you are never too much. You were just surrounded by people who couldn't meet your depth. But that depth, that ocean inside you, is your gift to the world. Let it guide you now, not toward more survival, but toward soulful peace, toward conscious relationships, toward a life where your wounds are not walls, but windows, where your story becomes someone else's light. Let this be your turning point. Let this be the chapter where you stop running from the past and start embracing your future, fully, fearlessly, freely. And if doubt ever creeps in, return to this moment. Return to your breath, your body, your truth. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are becoming, and that becoming is beautiful. The universe sees your courage. Your guides walk with you, and your higher self is already celebrating your return to wholeness. So take this healing, this awareness, and anchor it. Light a candle, say a prayer, write a letter to your younger self, and promise to never abandon them again. This is your sacred vow, not to perfection, but to presence. Because when Scorpio heals, the ripple is cosmic. You don't just rise, you reignite. And your fire, born of truth and love, lights the way for others to do the same. Thank you for being here. Beautiful soul. If this message touched something within you, I invite you to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who may need it. Drop a comment below and let me know what part of your inner child you're choosing to honor today. You are never alone in this process. We rise together, we heal together, and we remember you are always meant to shine. This is the Mystic, Astrozen, and this is your sacred rebirth. Until next time, Scorpio, may you walk in clarity, rise in purpose, and live as the phoenix you were born to be.